In the headlines, plan of arrangement legislation passed for BICO and CLICO creditors. Banana farmers can look forward to government securing new markets on the heels of a protest by Maricot farmers, and Rosa Primary School creates history topping the Grade 6 National Assessment exams. I am Kenny Williams with the Channel 5 News. More when we return. Welcome back. Policyholders of BICO and CLICO are a step closer to a resolution in recovering monies lost from the collapsed insurance companies. Idona John-Baptiste explains.
Government has passed the plan of arrangement legislation related to the fallout of British American Insurance Company and Colonial Life Insurance Company Limited. Finance Minister and Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit told the House of Assembly on Monday the legislation is seeking to address challenges with respect to paying out compensation to creditors of the failed insurance companies. Among the measures taken was to appoint judicial managers to deal with facilitating a plan of arrangement for the payout.
It has been deemed necessary that a legal framework be established for continuing to address the BICO and CLICO fallout. The core committee has been collaborating with the judicial managers for establishing a plan of arrangement for both the ECCU territories and the Bahamas. The Bahamas, Madam Speaker, must be part of the plan as BICO was registered in that jurisdiction. In order to successfully implement the proposed plan of arrangement and provide payments to BICO policyholders under the plan, a uniform law effecting a plan of arrangement regime must be passed in all 8 ECCU territories and the Bahamas.
The bill has been passed in Antigua and Barbuda, Grenada and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Governments of the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union are unable to make any further progress if the legislation is not enforced, according to Prime Minister Skerrit.
The priority to be given to distribution of assets is at Section 7. Insurance claims shall, after the cost and expenses of the judicial management or the subsequent liquidation of BICO, have a first priority on the assets of BICO and shall rank above all unsecured creditors. Given that conclusion has not been reached for CLICO, the priority of claims of creditors of CLICO shall, in the proposed arrangement, be as prescribed in regulation or, in the absence of regulations to this effect, be in accordance with the laws from time to time in force in Barbados. It should be noted that the CLICO business in the Eastern Caribbean was managed and administered by CLICO Holdings Barbados. While the investments made in the insurance companies were private arrangements, this government and the government of the ECCU have made every effort to try to recover the investments of our citizens.
The opposition generally supports the passage of the bill, but opposition parliamentarian Ezekiel Basil says legislators must learn from the experience from these insurance companies and strengthen its insurance and banking legislations.
The big question, Madam Speaker, should be one of the questions: why spend time in this bill and directed directly towards BICO and CLICO? Should we instead have placed this bill as an open bill, Madam Speaker, for in case of any other unfortunate eventualities, as well as, Madam Speaker, whilst you're doing that, strengthen legislations that will be governing the Insurance and Banking Act. Insurance companies must and should always understand that and banks as well, they're what they are. The problems a number of times, Madam Speaker, comes around when the investments start going wild.
Agriculture authorities are currently working to secure additional markets for banana farmers coming from a recent trade mission within the region. Idona John-Baptiste has that story.
The word from Agriculture Minister Johnson Drygo is that arrangements are currently ongoing to secure additional markets. This is Drygo's response to a protest by farmers of Marigot over what they consider a lack of markets for their bananas. The farmers congregated on the Marigot Highway on Saturday with discarded bananas from their farms to, according to them, make a statement to government.
The government has supported us in doing a banana production. Well, in fact, we were always doing our bananas, but on a smaller basis. And what we had the production, we were able to send them out to the neighboring islands and get returns for them. But now the government has stepped in and given some additional support and give us the impression, in fact, that markets are going to be available for these things. So that was good. But now that the production is in, nothing has happened in terms of marketing. And so we have hundreds and even thousands, we can say, boxes of bananas just lying down in the field. Or the people responsible really not stepping forward and having dialogue with us, right? Where we can even assist with our ideas as to what will happen or what can happen.
I decided to plant bananas as a young man. I took a loan. My mother just died. I get the opportunity to take a loan. I took a loan investing my money in bananas. I go at it very hard. I plant 4 acres of bananas. Right now, I have a lot of bananas and they just ripen on me. I don't know what to do with them. When I do get boxes, about 5 boxes, which cannot even help to feed myself much as to start to pay back the loan.
The impact of black sigatoka on the country's banana fields in 2012 resulted in a drop in banana production. Last year, government had stepped in to provide 20,000 banana plantlets to farmers aimed at reviving bananas. Before that, a black sigatoka management task force was put in place. Former Prime Minister and farmer Edison James, also of Marigot, says several farmers from the community planted bananas in response to government's drive to boost the banana sector.
The number of those plants have come to production, and at this point in time, unfortunately, quite a bit of that banana is now being rotting on the trees, and the farmers are losing money. There was a time when we sent our bananas to England, a much bigger market than we have in the region. That marketing opportunity was essentially closed down. The UK market has been closed, and there's absolutely no way that the regional market can deal with the amount of bananas that the farmers have been asked to produce.
Agriculture Minister Johnson Drygo considers the activity by Marigot farmers mischievous.
Government invested a lot of money in assisting the farmers, providing them with the planting materials, providing them with all the fertilizer they need, up to the sleeving material, to the point where the government invested in even the cartons, the boxes that the farmers are now using for the shipment of the bananas.
Dominica has also had to deal with suspension of its bananas to the United Kingdom. In December 2014, the United Kingdom-based fruit importer and distributor Winfresh Limited placed a ban on purchasing the country's bananas because of poor quality. Drygo agrees that there are challenges in marketing the crop overseas.
The present situation is that the bananas presently are attracting a better price on the regional market than the European market. The whole question of going back to the European market is something we're looking at. We were always of the opinion that we wouldn't be able to go back to the European market immediately. There is the whole question of quite a bit of bananas on the regional market. And as far as I'm concerned, the local market for bananas are not even saturated yet. I believe some of these bananas, they could have been taken and they could have fetched market for it on the island itself.
He says an agriculture trade mission to Caribbean islands 3 weeks ago has identified new markets for export of bananas.
Preparation are being made to take advantage of these additional markets. There is the question of the transportation of the bananas. We're now preparing to ensure that the bananas are transported in reefer containers to meet the quality that the market demands. Additional markets in the islands and Thomas, the Virgin Islands to expand our market share in these areas.
In more top stories, despite the better performance of girls over boys in the grade 6 results, the top pupil this year is a boy from the Roseau Primary School. More from Andrea Louis.
12-year-old Hamish Blaise, who was pleased with his results and plans on attending the St. Mary's Academy, told Channel 5 News that preparation was key.
I prepared for the exams in many different ways, such as doing past papers, so I know what the exam would be like. I have a figure of what the questions would be. And my teachers also helping me and pushing me forward to get my goal.
One of the things we realized this year is that the girls continue to outperform the boys in the GSAT exams. However, you're a boy and you topped the Ireland results. What do you have to say to young boys why they should be serious about school and stay focused on their schoolwork?
One thing I've realized now is that most girls actually do everything in the country nowadays. Like we have bus drivers, more jobs open for girls. So I just like for boys to actually take part in that, because the boys don't really do anything nowadays. So I'd like them to work hard and actually improve society.
Greta Roberts is the principal of the Roseau Primary School.
Hamish is a child who has been working very hard. He's a bookworm, a natural-born scientist, I must say. So to me, it was something that we expected. As to whether expecting him to come first, that was the big surprise to me. To me, the teachers worked very hard. I think they saw the potential with Hamish and the other students who also performed, and they did their best to ensure that Roseau Primary lived up to its vision to shine above all. And we did it, yes, now I realize that. That's our vision, to shine above all, and we did it. Praise to the Almighty God, yes.
11-year-old Megan Vidal of the St. Martin Primary School hopes to attend the Convent High School come September. Megan came in 3rd in the Ireland's top 5.
It feels very, very good. I was very scared at first. I'm just glad finally it's over. We finally know what we got, and I'm just thankful to God for everything that He's done for me.
Why were you scared at first?
Honestly, it was hard for me. I mean, I'm used to doing well, but the common entrance was real hard for me. So I'm just so glad that I came on number 3.
What was it like preparing for the exams?
Well, honestly, it was a lot of hard work. I was never a fan of studying, so I was always very mad when my mother had to send me to study and having to give up TV because I really like TV.
No, there were 2 language arts papers, 1 maths, 1 science, and social studies. Which of those 4 was your favorite?
Well, honestly, math, it was the easiest, so obviously it was my favorite, and I always liked math because I remember participating in the math power contest, so it really shows my love for math.
Right, speaking of contests, you also took part in the reading competition. Did that help you in any way at all?
Well, yes, it helped me understand my comprehension more. It helped me read it properly and understand it so that I could answer the questions properly.
Principal of the St. Martin Primary School says she is impressed with the overall performance of her grade 6 pupils.
It's always exciting to know that our students are at the top of the list. But for me, it's the more overall performance that, that you feel a sense of achievement. Because at the school, we have gotten 27 scholarships and 13 bursaries out of our 108 students who wrote the exams. And we are very happy that no students got E's, because that tells us that our children are performing well.
12-year-old Naomi Samuel Williams of the Ebenezer SDA Primary says her placement in the top 5 came as no surprise. Naomi hopes to attend the Convent High School in the next school year.
I really can't explain how I feel right now. I'm elated, but I really couldn't do it without the help of my teachers, my principal, and most of all God. He's my rock, and without him I could not do this. They actually train us, and with every exam we get the feel of it because they basically fit the curriculum around it so that when we get to grade 6, we don't really have to be trying to fit everything into our brains, so we already know some of the stuff.
The Ebenezer SDA Primary Grade 6 class of 34 pupils attained 8 scholarships and 7 bursaries.
I expected from my school this bunch of students from the time they began. I've been following them from grade K. They've been on my principal list, and principal list is 90% and above average. And I've been telling them, remain there. If you remain there, you can get a scholarship. So one success breeds another success. So I believe it will just encourage and motivate the other class coming up to just outshine this class.
Jada Madison Joseph and Nishante LeBlanc of the St. John's Primary School placed 2nd and 4th respectively. We will have their reactions in a subsequent newscast. Andrea Louis, Channel 5 News.
Still in education, high school dropouts who did not make it in the formal education system now have a second chance at having a CXC qualification at a Portsmouth-based institution.
The CVQ certification is awarded by the Caribbean Examination Council. Candidates are expected to show competence in obtaining occupational standards developed by practitioners, industry experts, and employers. The center where adolescents learn to love and serve or CALS is preparing to offer the Caribbean Vocational Qualification, or CVQ. CALS institution has been offering alternative learning options for the past 22 years for those who did not complete a high school education.
Now I'm working feverishly with Mr. Abraham Duran to bring forth to Dominica the CVQ program, because that is where it's going to propel our young men. Motor mechanics, hospitality, you name it. And more so in Portsmouth, I think I heard we have 4 new hotels in the making. So the young people are getting excited. As a matter of fact, Kipinski had just hired one of our young men here to train him in surveying. So we're well poised. I'm also waiting for government to partner with me in building a motor mechanic.
Since 2009, CALS has been offering the Caribbean certification of secondary level competence, which is sat at 3rd form.
After the first year, we assess them and see who can do those exams. I would like to pay tribute to Miss Helen Seaman Francis. May her soul rest in peace. She was very instrumental in getting the Second Chance School here in Portsmouth registered with CXC as a second chance institution.
CALS has a 2-year program which upon completion gives students the opportunity to get job attachments.
Well, to begin with, our young men, they kind of don't want this long 5-year or 6-year in the education system, in the high school. And some of them, their parents can't afford. And the age where they are, they feel they would like to work. If programs could be organized for them at a shorter period, then, it would make things better. The girls seem to, teenage pregnancy is our problem. So what we do, whether you have a child and you're 16 and to 22, we'll take you.
You're watching Channel 5 News. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. Government will be awarding over 90 scholarships for those who wrote the Grade 6 National Assessment. Education Minister Peter Saint-Jean announced at a news conference on Monday those students who obtained 4 Grade A's or 3 Grade A's and 1 B, or 3 Grade A's and a C, or 2 A's and 2 B's will be awarded scholarships.
Bursaries will be awarded to those students who obtain the equivalent of 4 B's or better, but did not qualify for the award of a scholarship. On that basis, 94 students were awarded scholarships and 100 students were awarded bursaries. The amount allocated to scholars and bursaries for textbooks and stationery is $500 and $300 EC dollars, respectively.
The Minister for Education says government is committed to having improved performance from pupils while closing the gap in results between boys and girls in future exams.
The Ministry of Education has partnered with the OECS and USAID for the Early Learners Program, which seeks to address the issue of poor performance in English language and mathematics, which continues to be a major area of challenge for educators and policy makers within the OECS. Under this program, we are seeking to develop teachers' capability to assess and teach children effectively at the early primary level, that is grades K to grade 3, and to design, develop, and adopt appropriate intervention strategies for at-risk children.
Honorable St. Jean says assistance will continue to be provided for those who need.
As obtained in previous years, the government shall provide support to families across the length and breadth of this island in the form of the school transfer grant of $500, provision of textbooks, and in areas where the need exists, the provision of uniforms, school shoes, and stationery. Additionally, the bus transportation system for students in distant communities shall be continued.
In related stories, girls continue to outperform boys in the Grade 6 National Assessment.
That's according to Senior Education Officer for Curriculum and Measurement, Robert Geist. 1,080 school children wrote the Grade 6 National Assessment this year. Out of that number, 534 were girls and 546 were boys.
Now, when we look at the distribution of grades for mathematics, we will see for A's, in A's, the girls, 10.1% of our girls obtained A's, as opposed to 7% of our boys. 24.5% of the girls obtained B's, as opposed to 22% of the boys. 44% of our girls obtained C's, as opposed to 37% for the boys. Now, if we look at the D's and the A's, we will see that we will observe a slight change in that the numbers for the girls decrease while the numbers for the boys increase.
There was a minor decrease in the performance in subject areas this year compared to 2015. The 1,080 school children sat exams for language arts, social studies, mathematics, and science.
If we compare the results, we'll see that we had a very insignificant drop in the performance in language arts 1. It moved from 39.7 to 39.1. The average, the overall average in terms of percentage is we had 65 last year, 64 this year. For the national assessment, we always aim for an average of 65 to 70%, a difficulty level of all the papers to fall somewhere between 65 and 70%, and that is standard for high-stakes exams. So as we can see, the results this year and last year, there was no major difference.
In 2015, 1,058 pupils wrote the GSAT exams. The Western District was the top performing district this year. Andrea Louis, Channel 5 News.
Reform is needed to encourage more independence within the local government system. At least that's what Portsmouth Mayor Titus Francis is advocating for. The country's local government system is set up in such a way that village and town councils serve as channels for central government policy outputs, programs and projects in communities. Mayor Francis told Channel 5 News he feels councils should be empowered to make their own decisions.
I say we are the local government, for example, of Portsmouth. We are the local government of Portsmouth. All right? But you must have teeth to bite. And we need that. We need that coming out of the local government reform process. We need more autonomy. We need to be able to enforce and ensure that when we make that move, we make it in the interest of the town. So that plus a budget, I think, will get us to go where we want to go.
That's news. Sports is next. First up in sports, Coming from an impressive 100-run win against South Africa on Friday to head to the Tri-Nation Series final against Australia on Sunday, West Indies fell short and lost to Australia by 58 runs. Australia batted first and posted 270 for 9. Matthew Wade top-scored with 57, while Aaron Finch and Stephen Smith supported with 47 and 46 respectively. Jason Holder and Shannon Gabriel took 2 wickets each for West Indies. Set 271 for victory, the Windies fell short of that target and were bowled out for 212 in 45.4 overs. Johnson Charles and Dennis Ramdin did their best to hold up the West Indies with 45 and 40 respectively, but that wasn't enough as Josh Hazelwood and Mitchell Marsh spelled trouble for the Windies, taking 5 for 50 and 3 for 32 in that order. Next up, defending champions New India Goodwill Runners came a step closer to defending their title with a come-from-behind win over the title contenders New Generation Sports Club by defeating them 2-1 on Sunday. Brianna Lewis scored both goals for Goodwill Runners, with Tamanthea Joseph scoring for New Generation. Meanwhile, at Benjamin's Park, Marusoka Strikers defeated Wood City Strikers 4-2. Sharon Serra registered a hat-trick for Soka Strikers, with Cassandra Augustine scoring 1. Tabik Lockhart and Jana Carbon scored for Wood City. On to track and field, although Dominica didn't have any athletes qualifying for the Olympics at the Trinidad Nationals on the weekend, the athletes had some notable performances. Tia Lafont placed second in the women's triple jump, Michelle Davis third in 200 meters, Jordanis Garcia first in triple jump, Shani Angle third in javelin, David Regis second in long jump, Dylan Simon first in shot put, and Brendan Williams won his high jump event in 2.1 meters, 0.19 short of equaling the qualifying mark. Meantime, the team will compete at the OECS Games in Tortola on the weekend. 3 athletes joined the squad who will compete in Tortola: Andre Basil, Derek Seja, and Mariah Toussaint. On the beach for more football action, Arizona boys handed down a 4-1 beating to the party team in Sunday's version of the 2016 T2E Beach Football Tournament. Janai Charles was Arizona's MVP with 2 goals, while Fitzroy Laura and Raquel Roberts added 1 each. Robert Alexander scored the lone goal for party team. Meantime, in another match, the visiting Signman team defeated Soccerama champions Ghetto Youth All-Stars 2-1. Norton Vidal and Marcellus Bonney converted 1 each for Signman, while Alex Ernest scored for All-Stars. Still in football, there were wins for Burt Motors Young Stars, Dutch United, and Daddy Chess Bath Road Ambassadors in the weekend's games of the 2016 Fast Cash Harlem Football League. Young Stars gave St. Mary's Corp Delton United a 10-0 hammering. O'Neill Bedminster scored 2 with Kimon Coffey, Nigel Sanderson, Addy John, Eustace Marshall, Idoni Samuel, Marcel Germain, and Zoff Williams 1 each. In another match, Dutch United had Icons under their heels for an 8-1 defeat. Donan Gervais led the way with 3, with single goals coming from other team players. And Bath Road defeated Delnaje Quirkside 2-1. The league continues on Thursday between Malta India Icons and Daddy Chess Bath Road Ambassadors at 6. On the basketball scene, LA Knights, Police Sports Club, and Signman X-Men recorded wins in their respective games of the 2016 DABA League recently. Knights beat Kelvadaru Hurricanes 79-66. Police Sports Club sent Fashionland Falcons home with a 81-77 defeat, and Sonics failed to show up, so X-Men won by default. Meantime, the league continues on Tuesday when Lady Panthers takes on 767 Sports Club Lady Ballers at 7, to be followed by E.H. Charles and Elijah Law Chambers Thunderers at 9. The games are scheduled for Massac. And finally, in volleyball, DB's Acers, Flo Wolfpack, and DB's Young Vets recorded wins in the 2016 Flo National Volleyball League. Acers had game scores of 14-25, 25-13, 29-27, and 27-25 against Flo Strike Force. Flo Wolfpack won their game 25-18, 25-20, and 25-21 against Portsmouth Breakers, and DB's Young Vets beat MCCU Sunrise 25-22, 15-25, 25-18, and 25-22. That's all the sports for now. I am Kenny Williams. Join us again next time. Pack those umbrellas just yet. More in the weather report.
Good evening and welcome to tonight's weather broadcast. I am your presenter, Annie Carrette Joseph. The Atlantic high-pressure system re-established itself across the region during the course of the day. This resulted in fair to partly cloudy skies across Dominica as the day progressed. Visible satellite imagery showed few low-level clouds over Dominica during the afternoon. Radar imagery indicated some widely scattered showers across the Lesser Antilles. Conditions for tonight, fair to occasionally cloudy with a few scattered showers. Tomorrow, fair to partly cloudy skies with a few brief scattered showers. Sea conditions, slight to moderate in open water with waves up to 5 feet. Taking a look at our extended forecast, again tomorrow Tuesday, fair to partly cloudy skies with brief scattered showers. This weather pattern is expected to continue on Wednesday and Thursday. Some hazy conditions as well expected on Wednesday and Thursday, and some breezy conditions on Wednesday. A tropical wave is expected to move across the area by late Thursday into Friday. And across the region tomorrow, cloudy skies with scattered showers can be expected across the extreme northern portion of the island chain, fair to partly cloudy skies with some brief showers on the central and some thunderstorm expected across the extreme southern portion. On the international scene, some rain expected in New York and London, partly cloudy skies in Miami and Beijing, and some thunderstorm in Caracas. The sun will rise tomorrow at 5:37 a.m. and set at 6:40 p.m. For updated information, log on to our website at weather.gov.dm or call the weather hotline at 447-5555. Thank you for viewing and join us next time. Good night.
To end the news, the headlines again. Plan of arrangement legislation passed for BICO and CLICO creditors. Banana farmers can look forward to government securing new markets on the heels of a protest by Marigot farmers. And Rosa Primary School creates history, topping the Grade 6 National Assessment exams. Feel free to contact us at news@mapping2k4.com. You can also access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the production team, I am Kenny Williams. To our viewers around the world, thank you for watching. Join us tomorrow.